Alright, what is going on YouTube? Adonis coming back at you with a brand new video, and today we are going to be rebuilding the New York Football Giants. I'm very excited for this one. As we can see offensively, right, the big rookie that we brought in, Malik Nabers, gonna be our starting wide receiver. I think he's gonna be amazing in the NFL. Really plays a little bit more of a like slot role, right? Kind of just based on his size. He's kind of a deep threat, smaller guy, a little bit reminiscent of maybe Chris Olave, but I think Malik Nabers is one of the best prospects that we've come out, right? Just a little bit undersized, quote unquote. He's still 6 foot, about 200 pounds. Offensively, really the big question this year is going to be Drew Lock or Danny Dimes, right? We're going to let Danny ride this one out, but I mean, if he doesn't get rocking and rolling, that is going to be the first position that we look to replace. Obviously, we brought Devin Singletary in the offseason. We also have the rookie out of Purdue, Tracy. I'm very intrigued to see just how this offense can do as a whole, right? I think Malik Nabers will add a lot for these guys for a long time, but depending on how Danny Dimes does, right, it doesn't matter if you have a great receiver or even a group of great receivers, as we also have Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, Wan'Dale Robinson. It doesn't matter, depending, like, it really depends on Danny Dimes, right? So we'll see, man. Defensively, right, we've got like a very kind of loaded front seven group, right, with Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, who they acquired in the offseason, Kayvon Thibodeau, Isaiah Simmons, Bobby Okereke, Azeez Ojulari is there as well. Our secondary, right, we've got like Deonte Banks, who like obviously in real life was amazing, right? We've also got like Jason Pinnock, Tyler Nubin, right? I think this is Cordell Flott, I want to say. Yes. So we've got a young team that we're gonna look to develop, but realistically, this year is kind of like let's get on the horse, right, and ride with Danny Dimes, or we are bucking that boy right on off. That is a weird analogy or saying, or I don't even know what you would call that. You guys get what I'm saying though. So without further ado, let's go ahead. I'm predicting 7 wins this season. I think that's a little bit better than the Giants did last year, and I don't think there's going to be like huge movement when it comes like to the win department, but I do hope at least there is some development. So 7 wins is what we're aiming for. And with that being said, man, I will see you guys at week number 8, and we will see if Danny Dimes is going to get bucked off this horse or not. I'm just rolling with it for the video. All right, so at the midseason mark, we are sitting at 2-5. Danny Dimes time looks like it's going to be coming to an end. I do not want to jump the gun though. We will take a look at the stats and then kind of make a decision based off of that. So Danny, Jesus, I mean, he's throwing for a decent amount of yards, but like, dude, we got to get the TDs to interceptions ratio up, because well, that it's just not enough, man. Rushing wise, Singletary's doing all right. Danny Dimes, of course, running the ball. Tyrone Tracy's gotten some scores. Love to see it. Receiving wise, somehow Wan'Dale Robinson is number 1 on the team. I'm a little perplexed by that. With that being said though, like with it being him, Malik Nabers, Darius Slayton, and then Darren Waller, I'm not like mad about it. I'm just a little confused. It looks like Wan'Dale is like kind of balling out for us with a long of 80 yards on the season, which is kind of insane. His average is way higher than anyone else's. All right, man, I'm good with that. If you're gonna ball out and just catch a bunch of deep bombs, or come underneath and just run forever, I am good with that. Defensive line wise, we have 4 sacks on the season, so we very badly need to get that number up. In terms of the secondary, we got Isaiah Simmons, Bobby Okereke, and then Deonte Banks, right? We want to keep developing Banks. He had a great year in real life, so obviously kind of one of our franchise guys. TFL's leading the team is Dexter Lawrence, and then we've got Isaiah Simmons right after him. Definitely interesting, like statistically speaking, right? I want to go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and make some changes to the playbooks and stuff and see if maybe there's some schemes that fit us a little bit better. All right, so we are rolling with West Coast zone run. We were in West Coast spread first, which was interesting, and then we're running the 4-6 defense, right? We do have so many good front 7 guys. We want to take advantage of them. And then taking a look at the specialists offensively, it's clear Wan'Dale Robinson got moved to the slot cornerback position or receiver position. So we're gonna plop Jalen Hyatt there. I think he might excel a little bit better, but I do like that Wan'Dale is at least just performing well, right? He's young enough to where we do want to see him do well, right? And Darius Slayton is like, yeah, he's like getting older, quote unquote, but he's still only 26. With that being said, with Wandale being about the same overall as Darius Slayton and being like 4 years younger, I do prefer him a little bit. Obviously different players, but we're going to keep an eye on that. We may look to make some moves for a receiver, or at least trade a receiver to get value back in the offseason. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead, negotiate with who needs to be negotiated with, and I will see you guys at the end of the season. So taking a look at the stats, we finished the season with Danny Dimes, 17 TDs to 15 picks with an 87.1 passer rating. I mean, 3,400 yards is good for the kid, but 44 sacks is actually insane as well. Jesus. I just don't think he's our guy realistically. I think we will look to move on from him in the offseason. With that being said, let's take a look at our rushing stats, and Devin Singletary came very close to 1,000 yards rushing, which is awesome. Tyrone Tracy also got in a lot on the ground, which is great. Receiving wise, our leader on the team was Darius Slayton. Malik Nabers came in right behind him, then Darren Waller, then Jalen Hyatt, and Wandale Robinson as well. Yeah, obviously with a guy like Danny Dimes, really probably not going to have 1,000-yard receivers. You know, with that being said, blocking, it seems like, was a big issue, and Andrew Thomas let up 14 sacks. Jermaine Illuminor, 11 sacks. Jesus, this is not a strong group. Evan Neal having a little bit better of a year at the guard position, but Andrew Thomas really struggled. Defensively, Brian Burns led the team at 12.5 sacks. Would really have loved to see Kayvon Thibodeau take a step this year at just 2.5. Interceptions-wise, Isaiah Simmons led the team with 5. Deontay Banks had 3. Bobby Okereke had 2. Kayvon Thibodeau had 1 as well, and the rookie Tyler Nubin had 1. TFLs, I have to imagine it was big Dexter Lawrence. Isaiah Simmons had a great year, it looks like. And then Brian Burns as well, obviously lighting it up. And he's going to be the most expensive player we still have to re-sign. We are going to have to throw him a monster contract. So as we head into the offseason, right, Brian Burns is going to be someone that we really want to bring back. We gave him a very player-friendly offer. He was not biting on it. We are going to have to pay this dude a lot of money for him to stay. Perfect. Yeah, man. I mean, obviously it's a lot of money for a pass rusher. Probably the highest paid pass rusher, right? Yeah, I think we need to bring someone like him back. I think the rest of these guys, we are okay with going ahead and letting them walk. I think Drew Lock is like a guy you could look to bring back, but realistically he didn't play. I don't particularly think he's going to develop. Micaiah Wingo actually is a guy I would like to bring back. Yeah. But the rest of these guys, like Isaiah McKenzie could be one that we want to bring back, but realistically I would probably like to see kind of what's available here in free agency. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the free agents that are going to be available. So taking a look at the free agents that are available, realistically, a quarterback could be someone we look to bring in. I'm just seeing mediocre guys though, like no one that I want to really start. I think James Houston IV is an interesting addition to the team. We'll go ahead and try to sign him. Realistically, not a whole lot that I'm able to see right now that I'm particularly interested in. Darnell Savage would be an interesting one, but really we're just going to offer on James Houston IV, and then I will see you guys at the draft, assuming that we get him. So we are able to bring in James Houston IV, and with that, we're going to go ahead and hop into the draft, and we are going to likely pick up our quarterback of the future here. So here we go, heading into the NFL draft. We've got some guys we want to pick up, right? We are looking at RJ Wilkins and Clay Phillips. Realistically, need to get one of those guys. They are both top 5 talents in this draft. We do need to see kind of how the board falls, as no quarterbacks off the board quite yet. Yet again, no quarterbacks off the board quite yet. I would not be surprised if we saw one right here, as we do see Clay Phillips go, and we're going to make a trade with the Seattle Seahawks to jump them because we want our guy of the future. So we are sending a 1st and a 5th to jump up 1 spot to go ahead and pick our quarterback of the future, ladies and gentlemen. And this kid looks like an absolute stud. RJ Wilkins, 6'5", 233-pound field general archetype, right-handed out of Missouri. Looks just like an amazing player, right? He's going to have A medium, A short, B deep accuracies. All of his stuff is kind of built around being a pocket quarterback. RJ Wilkins, welcome to the New York Football Giants. So we have our quarterback of the future now, which means we need to draft essentially around what, we need to be able to protect the kid. I am seeing Rob Curtis here, who looks like a very decent plug-and-play center. Love seeing a awareness on the offensive lineman. We're going to go ahead and draft a center of the future for our quarterback of the future, and that will bring us to the 3rd round. So sitting here in the 3rd round now, we kind of have our pick of what do we want, right? Do we want another cornerback essentially to potentially try and shore up the defense, right? I'm taking a look at the cornerback out of Washington right here, Mac Ellison. Did not run particularly well, but he's got a press, a man, a tackle. I'm thinking he might be pretty decent. Let's go ahead and draft Mac Ellison. 87 speed is pretty slow for a corner, but hey man, I think we've hit it out the park so far. Let's go ahead and advance to the end of the draft and see how we did. So taking a look at the draft recap, we came away with a 78 overall quarterback, already an improvement from where Danny Dimes was. That is phenomenal. Taking a look at the NFL as a whole, Clay Phillips and RJ Wilkins, both 78 rated quarterbacks, so I think we hit out the park right there. Roy Campbell, highest rated player, and then a 7th round fullback as per usual in these videos. Really random. So love to see that we were able to come away with a top player in the draft. And without further ado, I will see you guys as we gear up for the regular season. So we have thrown Danny Dimes up on the trade block, and these are the essentially offers that we are getting for him. I feel like a lot of these are pretty unrealistic. With that being said, I could totally see the Raiders doing something like this. I could also see the Titans doing something like this. Depending on how their guys are going to develop, we will accept the Titans offer for Danny Dimes right there. And ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys as we gear up for the regular season. So heading into week 1, this is what the squad is looking like. Obviously, you probably wouldn't want to have Runyon playing tackle, but I feel like he's a stronger tackle than Illuminor is. We obviously have our boy Wilkins starting at quarterback. Devin Singletary's up to an 85 overall. Love to see it. Offense looking pretty solid. I'm very excited to see what Wilkins can do. Defensively, we have switched over to a 4-3. I think Dexter Lawrence is going to be pretty solid. James Houston, right? We have Azeez Ojulari. Kayvon Thibodeau got hurt, so Azeez is going to be our guy. Obviously, Simmons and Okereke as well, and then Brian Burns was able to get a long-term contract done with him. Obviously, we've also got the rookie at slot cornerback. I do want him playing there. I think that's where he's probably going to be best. Not as fast as some other guys, but still a hidden dev player. We do want to try to develop him. I'm very interested to see what this team can do this year. Brand new quarterback. Let's see if we can't have a better season than last year. We are going to set our season goal. We're going to set it for 7 wins again. I feel like that's kind of where we're at, right? We don't know a whole lot going into the year with a rookie quarterback. Without further ado, let's go ahead and sim to the midseason mark, and I will see you guys there. All right, so at the midseason mark, we are sitting at 2-5. Not so great. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. See what's going on. RJ Wilkins lighting it up. 1,660 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, averaging a 96.1 passer rating. Love to see it. Rushing the ball, Devin Singletary off to a hot start, over 500 yards on the ground, 4 touchdowns. Love to see it. RJ Wilkins getting out of the pocket a little bit as well. Receiving wise, our guy Darius Slayton continues to light it up at 520 yards. Malik Nabers at 300. Darren Waller just under that, and Jalen Hyatt following up behind those guys. Really would like to see Nabers kind of be the alpha in this offense. Very intriguing. Sacks wise, Andrew Thomas is still getting our guy killed. Do not love that, but it does look like Rob Curtis and John Runyon are holding down the right side decently well. Actually, Rob Curtis is our starting center. Does still look pretty decent. Defensively, Brian Burns yet again leading the team. Love to see it. Dexter Lawrence coming in right behind him. Mekhi Wingo also 2.5 sacks. Glad that we brought him back. James Houston getting in. Kayvon Thibodeau getting in as well. Production from the secondary is non-existent, which is not good. 1 interception on the season. You can't win games if you're not taking the ball away. So it does look like RJ Wilkins unfortunately only has star dev. That is all right. Coming over to the defensive side of the ball, it looks like James Houston got injured. It looks like we're kind of playing down all around in the secondary, really allowing a lot through the air, it seems. Yeah, it just looks like overall, I mean, taking a look at our ranks, right? Defensively, we're 16th, right? So not that bad. Very high in sacks. Offensively, we are 14th as well. Not that bad. Really not getting a lot of rushing touchdowns. Looks like touchdowns is kind of the big thing. And then takeaways, obviously, on the defensive side of the ball. We really need to shore that up. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and negotiate with the players that we do want to bring back, and I will see you guys as the playoffs come up. All right, so we finished the year again, 7-10. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. It looks like RJ had a great rookie year, right? 3,600 yards, 28 TDs through the air to only 8 interceptions. I think, dude, that's awesome. Rushing wise, Singletary able to eclipse the 1,000 yard mark. RJ Wilkins with 283 yards on the ground. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we're doing well. Maybe touchdowns were an issue. Receiving Receiving-wise, Darius Slayton just under 1,000 yards. Malik Nabers following him up. Jalen Hyatt, Wan'Dale Robinson, both coming close to 500 yards. Darren Waller there as well. Defensively, Brian Burns had a huge season at 16.5 sacks. Kayvon Thibodeau finally taking the step in the direction we want him to at 5.5. Dexter Lawrence 5.5 as well. Interceptions wise, Isaiah Simmons really came on strong in the second half of the year with 5 interceptions. Dude is an interception machine in sim for some reason. Brian Burns with 18 TFLs and then double digits from both Kayvon Thibodeau and Mekhi Wingo is awesome. Dexter Lawrence having a little bit of a down year, but still pretty decent. Let's see how we were able to protect the quarterback. Andrew Thomas, 13 sacks allowed. Really regressing, just not getting it done at the tackle position. That's kind of crazy, honestly. He's a very decent tackle in my mind. 13 sacks is a lot, though. So as we head into the offseason, we can see RJ Wilkins was able to come away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year, which is awesome. Really happy to see that for him, and I think he'll have an even better year next year, hopefully, as the Jaguars are able to win the Super Bowl. Kind of crazy. So we've got some players to try and bring back, obviously, both Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal's fifth-year options, but we only have 13 million. I do feel like Darius Slayton is a guy we let walk at this time. I think Jason Pinnock is one that we definitely try to bring back. So we've got 7.2 left. Realistically, a lot of these guys are not going to see the field for us. I think probably like Azeez Ojulari would be the one that I would want to bring back if we could. He's going to test out free agency, and of course we don't have enough to franchise tag him. And yeah, man, I mean, we just have no money to re-sign players. It's probably the dead cap hit that comes from Danny Dimes. So with that being said, we're just going to go straight into the draft. We don't have any money to bring in players during free agency, so really just got to try and build through the draft, which we did a good job at last year, but we got to continue to try and develop these guys. So here we go, heading into the draft, and we are picking at 13. Let's see, I mean, what's available, man. We do have two round one tackles, which might not be bad to consider. So after taking a look at both of these tackles, I don't really like either of them. Realistically, I do like Marlon Byrd, though. 6'5" defensive tackle coming out of South Carolina. Great to elite in a lot. B finesse moves, B power moves. If he combines that with an A block shot, he's going to be insane. With our 13th pick, we are going to be going ahead and taking Marlon Byrd, defensive tackle out of South Carolina, and unfortunately not a hidden dev player, but hey, you can't win them all. So picking here at number 13 in the second round, I'm seeing a 6'8" wide receiver. That is kind of insanity, right? F deep route. Oh my god, he cannot run routes for the life of him, but A catch in traffic. He's 6'8" Daryl Ball. I gotta see what's going on here. 6'8" wide receiver coming to the Giants. We'll find a spot for him, I guarantee you. We have a strong arm field general quarterback that can sling the ball wherever. In the third round now, kind of looking to just address whatever. Adonis Reed, man. Boy, do I want to take him. Looking at Jalen Tiller here, right guard, pass protector. Good to elite in quite a bit. It looks like a pass block. It's like a good pass blocking right guard. Not going to be a good run blocker, but we are going to go ahead and take the kid. Hidden dev, pass protecting right guard. And we're going to sim to the end of the draft and see how we did. I hope that our defensive tackle that we drafted ends up being somewhat decent. Ooh, so taking a look at the draft recap, we missed big time. Oh my goodness, wait, hold on. We got a 5th round halfback that looks pretty decent. But Marlon Byrd does not look good. Jalen Tiller does not look good. And Daryl Ball, oh man, this is not a good draft from the Giants. Kind of, trying to make it realistic, of course. God, man. And Taven Pearman. Jesus, dude. Tremaine Murray, we missed out on a good right guard. Antoine Matthews. Yeah, man, I mean, realistically, I do not think we did particularly well. Taking a look at one of the right tackles we were looking at is a 73, right? So didn't miss that bad on him. Luke Carmichael as well, 74, right? And then Bryce Cooper, 73, right? So really, it looks like a lot of kind of swing and misses from teams here in the draft. Yeah, man, we will see what we can make out of this roster. I will see you guys as we get ready to head into the regular season. So this might be actually the most insane thing I have ever seen. Didn't even notice this, just kind of reordering the team as we go into preseason, but our, I think, third rounder from last year, Mac Ellison, is a superstar X Factor wide receiver or cornerback. He's not even that good. This is just, that's the most insane thing I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever drafted a superstar X Factor corner. You, my friend, will be starting right next to Deontay Banks. That is crazy. Also do want to note that our boy RJ Wilkins is up to superstar dev, which is very, very nice to see. We are going to start our boy Ball. I want to see how he does, all right? Do not yell at me in the comments. I want to see how he does. So as we head into the season, this is what the squad is looking like. Evan McPherson, backup quarterback, superstar dev. Love to see it. Definitely intrigued, to say the least. We are going to be starting our right guard Tiller right there, and then Runyon is going to be starting at tackle for us. I think that gives us a little bit of flexibility versus Illuminor, who I just do not think is that guy. At wide receiver, obviously, we've got Nabers, we've got Hyatt, we've got Ball. We're going to see if he can ball out. That's terrible. RJ Wilkins, obviously superstar. Love to see it. Defensively, right? We've got our rookie Bird. Ellison is just a superstar with X Factor. That is just the most insane thing again. Just do not know why he has that. That's bizarre. Defense, looking really good heading into the season as we are going to take a look at our pass rushers. Obviously, Brian Burns. We're going to have Bird and Wingo behind Dexter Lawrence. And then Kayvon Thibodeau on the other side. And I want Ellison at slot cornerback. I think he's going to play very well there. At third down back, we're gonna let Swede get after it, right? 23-year-old rookie standing at 5'10", 231, but he's got 90 speed. Looks kind of insane, honestly. Like, that's a big dude to tackle coming out of the backfield. And although we are getting a little crazy with, you know, who's our starter at wide receiver and whatnot, we are gonna set our goal to be making the playoffs. I think we have a good shot at it this year. And without further ado, let's go ahead and sim to the midseason mark and see what we can do. So we are yet again 2-5 at the mid-season mark. Very intrigued as to what is going on. Let's check out the stats. RJ Wilkins having a good year so far. Obviously want those touchdown numbers up a little bit, but is still doing what we need him to do. Rushing wise, Devin Singletary yet again balling out. Swede has, you know, a touchdown. Love to see it. Devin Singletary has really found a home here in New York after being kind of passed around the league. Receiving wise, our boy Nabers is at the top of the list at 435. Daryl Ball, the 6'8" wide receiver out of the University of Notre Dame, is 387. Wan'Dale Robinson's getting touches behind him. Darren Waller, Theo Johnson, obviously. And blocking wise, we are not getting our quarterback assassinated. So what's the issue? Does it lie in the defense? Defensively, we are having a good pressure season from our top guys. Not much down the board after that. Takeaways, we are having a better season in terms of takeaways as well. So it's very interesting, right? What is going on? Let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule and kind of see where things might be going wrong. Oh my God, man. Losing a lot of one-score games. That is what I am seeing. Lost by 3, lost by 4, lost by 4, lost by 3, won by 3, lost by 7, won by 5. A lot of really tightly, closely contested games, and I feel like we are like this close, man, to really breaking out. Without further ado, though, I'm gonna go ahead and send you guys on down to the end of the regular season while I negotiate with the players and see who we can bring back. All right, so we finished the season 5-11-1. Very intrigued to see what happened. RJ continuing to develop, doing what we need him to do. Rushing wise, Devin Singletary lighting it up, right? Like I'm a little confused. Daryl Ball, 800 yards in his rookie year. Love to see it. Wan'Dale Robinson, 12 touchdowns on the year is awesome. And we did not get our quarterback assassinated as much this year. He got like slightly assassinated. He got shot with like a bulletproof vest on, but like defensively, did we shit the bed? Oh my God, Dexter Lawrence having a comeback year. Love to see a Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau dropping off a little bit, but James Houston the fourth getting some pressure. Marlon Byrd, the rookie, 3 sacks. Interceptions wise, really not getting a lot of production, especially not from our superstar X Factor cornerback. TFL's Brian Burns, though he didn't have the sack production, did light it up in the TFL department. Like, dude, what is going on? Like, why are we losing games? Do we need to change the playbook? Probably. So like offensively and defensively, both 19 points or 19 and then 16 points per game. Like, what? I don't get it, man. And it looks like we're going to be picking number 6 in this year's draft, which means we're going to have a legit shot at some great talent, but very just confused as to like maybe do we need to make a playbook change as we are coming into the final year of this rebuild, right? We gotta get these guys rocking and rolling because RJ can only do so much, man. He's balling, but like we gotta help him out, I think, defensively, especially just not getting what we need from our defense. All right, so here we go. We've got 51 mil to go ahead and try to bring back some of these guys. I think realistically Wan'Dale Robinson we really do want back, yep. And then also probably Cordell Flott as well. Maybe overpaying for these guys? We'll see about that. Mekhi Wingo, you are like, are you kidding me? Get over here. Jesus, dude, you're not leaving. I think the rest of these guys though, like Dane Belton, I don't feel particularly strongly about. Evan McPherson would be nice to have. I'll overpay for a kicker. Awesome. And then, yeah, like Brad Robbins will just sign another punter. Cordell, that's a lot for a cornerback that's like number 3 on the depth chart. We're going to look and see what there is in free agency, big dog. All right, so taking a look at the available free agents. I'm seeing a lot of kind of like aging guys, right? Like Joe Thuney is pretty dang old. Marcus Williams might be nice to have. We actually are going to offer on Marcus Williams because the secondary has kind of been a little bit of a liability for us. I think Kyler Gordon's a dude that definitely like should not be here, but we're going to go ahead and offer on him anyways. So those two guys are who we're targeting. Really want to shore up the secondary as players have evaluated their offers, and we were able to bring in both Marcus Williams and Kyler Gordon, really shoring up kind of the secondary for us. And with that being said, man, let's go ahead and hop into the draft. Got a lot of positions of need or where we could kind of improve. Realistically, probably looking for another really good receiver if there is one. Potentially offensive line, potentially defensive line as well. Or secondary. We could address that even more in the draft, right? There's a lot of things we can do. I'm very excited to see how we can do. So here we go, heading into the draft, drafting a number 6. Jermaine Lepet goes first. Let's take a look at our board, right? We are not drafting a quarterback because we've got our guy of the future. Potentially a left tackle to plug in a right tackle could be interesting. They had us projected to draft Trayvon Wimbley. Don't get me wrong, I love, oh my God, he ran a 4.24. That's kind of crazy. We definitely could draft a 4.24 running back. That would probably be not advisable, right? We could also draft a tackle or a defensive end. As the Patriots go ahead and take a guard out of Miami. Josh Pearson is the first quarterback to go to the Vikings. JJ McCarthy project not working out for them. Robbie Klein is next. Rashad Barkley goes right after him, which means we've got kind of our pick of the litter, right? What do we want? All right, I know it's irresponsible, but we're bringing in Trayvon Wimbley. I have to, man. 97 speed elusive back out of Utah. I know you guys are like, what the hell are you doing, Adonis? Trust the process. We're switching up the playbook this season. We got a plug and play instant starter. There's a quarterback projected to go top 5 that has fallen all the way out of the first round entirely. We've kind of got some guys that we could definitely utilize. Bernard Moore as a run stopper, but we've also got some safeties that we could draft as well. I'm thinking Daniel McMillan looks like a pretty decent safety, right? B, block shed, A, pursuit, A, tackle, C, zone, C, man. Not like phenomenal. All right, we've got Jamie Glenn here, a run stopping defensive end out of Clemson. Looks like a pretty decent athlete. I see A, block shed. I gotta pull the trigger on Jamie Glenn. Hidden dev, run stopping archetype. And with that, we're gonna head into the 3rd round, shoring up both the offensive and the defensive sides of the ball so far. So we just drafted Chris Harrison. He's a normal outside linebacker. I feel like it's pretty decent for us. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and sim to the end of the draft. See how we did. All right, so taking a look at our rookies. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is Trayvon Wimbley the next Saquon Barkley? Oh my goodness. That is kind of insane. That's got to be the highest rated player that we have done so far. Trayvon Wembley, my goodness, man. That might be a generational player right there. 84 overall. That is insanity. Wow. Wow, am I glad that we drafted him. All right, man, that's nuts. All right, ladies and gents, this is what the squad is looking like. Heading into the final season, Jalen Hyatt goes down with an injury, which means our boy Ball is going to be balling out at our wide receiver 3 position. RJ Wilkins, obviously. Malik Nabers, the rookie, 84 overall. Very excited to see how he can do. And then defensively, we've got a unit here. Kayvon Thibodeau, Pinnock, Marcus Williams, Deontay Banks, Ellison, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, man. We've got a squad, and we are ready to compete this year. I am very, very excited to see what we can do. And as we can see, we have a 91 overall defense, which is insanely good. We got to win the Super Bowl, man. It is our last year of this rebuild. Let's go out with a bang. I will see you guys at the mid-season mark. All right, ladies and gents, at the mid-season mark, we are 4-2. Fire me up. Let's take a look at the stats and see how we have been doing. As we can see, RJ is slinging for a lot of touchdowns, 115.9 passer rating with a 71% completion percentage is insane. Rushing, Trayvon Wembley has a touchdown on the season, coming up on 400 yards. Devin Singletary with 4 touchdowns and RJ with 2 of his own. Receiving wise, Malik Nabers and Wan'Dale Robinson at the top of the list. Jalen Hyatt coming back from injury, lighting it up. Artie Williams with 2 touchdowns and about 200 yards, and then Theo Johnson behind them, but it looks like Wan'Dale, Malik, and Jalen Hyatt are our boys. Blocking wise, it looks like we're doing a really good job at keeping the pocket clean for our franchise quarterback. I love to see it. And then defensively, 4 sacks for Burns, 3.5 for Dexter Lawrence, 3 for Thibodeau. And then interceptions wise, getting a little bit more interceptions. Marcus Williams, Isaiah Simmons, right? Buffed up that secondary, and it is paying off big time. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys at the end of the season where, fingers crossed, we have finished the season strong and made the playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you with terrible news. We lost out pretty much and missed out on the playoffs. What happened? RJ Wilkins lit it up, passing the ball, 30 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, finishing with a 105.4 passer rating. Rushing wise, Trayvon Wembley did not eclipse 1,000 yards in his rookie season, but Devin Singletary had 11 touchdowns on the ground. Receiving wise, Malik Nabers balled out. Wan'Dale did as well. Jalen Hyatt, Theo Johnson got going. Artie Williams got some touches. Blocking wise, oh man, we got our quarterback killed in the second half of the season. Defensively did not have as strong a year as we'd previously had. And yeah, man, that is disappointing to say the least. It was looking really, really, really good at the midseason mark, and then we just fell apart, man. Taking a look at our schedule, we started just getting thumped. 17-0 to the Colts, 42-20 to the Cowboys. Yeah, man. Just not what we wanted to see in our final season. And realistically, if the Brian Dable era hadn't ended this next season, you know, coming up, it definitely would have at this point, because this is a very strong team, and we still missed out on the playoffs with a phenomenal roster, man. Wembley's got superstar dev. Malik Nabers has superstar dev. RJ Wilkins has superstar dev. Our tackle is awful. Don't know how he's starting. And then defensively, I mean, we've got a great unit. I'm a little confused, to be honest, but you can't win them all, man. And unfortunately not able to bring the Giants back to glory in this one. Yeah, man, I feel like RJ Wilkins would eventually win a Super Bowl. With that being said, though, that is going to be the end of this rebuild. I do hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a video. I love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.